On World Population Day, the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath warned of imbalanced population growth, arguing it could lead to arajakta and avyavastha, anarchy and disorder. A probe has now been ordered in Jharkhand. Did the local Muslim population force not just a change in prayer posture, but also force a Jumma off? Watch that poster very carefully. Friday off instead of Sunday in these Urdu primary schools at Jamtara. Several schools, not just one. The bigger question, is this an isolated incident in one state, or is this a symptom of a much larger problem? I'm Gaurav Sawant. We debate. But as always, let's get started with the headlines on India First. Political war escalates over India's national emblem. Opposition accuses the centre of modifying the emblem structure to make it seem more aggressive. Government refutes the tweaking charge. Uddhav Thackeray and his Sena backed the NDA presidential candidate Draupadi Murmu. Uddhav Thackeray says his MPs requested him to support Murmu. More than 100 Jharkhand schools change weekly off to Friday. The BJP guns for the Hemant Soren government calls it blatant Muslim appeasement. An inquiry has now been ordered. Sri Lanka's president takes a U-turn. According to reports, no resignation till safe exit for the entire Rajpaksa family. A veteran Pakistani columnist confesses to spying for ISI on his India visits during the UPA government. Columnist Nusrat Mirza attended events with former Vice President of India, Hamid Ansari, and senior leader, Ghulam Nabi Azad. Several primary schools in Jamtara in Jharkhand now have Friday off instead of Sunday. Why? The allegation is that the Muslim population in the area forced it. The National Commission for Protection of Child Rights has sought a report on complaints that Muslims in one district are against a certain prayer posture, joining of hands together for a prayer, and also against a certain prayer. The BJP claims this is a blatant example of Muslim appeasement. The Jharkhand Education Minister has ordered an inquiry. We bring you our top story.
Over 100 schools in Jharkhand's Jamtara district have started taking Friday weekly off instead of Sunday. The new practice is being followed by schools where majority students are from Muslim community to enable them to offer Friday prayers.
तुम्हारा छुट्टी कौन दिन रहता है और खुला कौन दिन रहता है?
फ्राइडे को छुट्टी रहता है
और संडे
को खुला रहता है।
फ्राइडे को छुट्टी क्यों रहता है बेटा?
यही मस्जिद सामने में होता है, नमाज पढ़ते हैं सब बच्चा लोग।
One of the villages where the change is implemented insists the middle school has been following Friday off since its inception.
छुट्टी शुक्रवार को होती है।
हाँ, शुक्रवार को छुट्टी रहता है
जुम्मा के लिए। और रविवार को
चालू रहता है। ये पहले से एकदम शुरू से ये उर्दू स्कूल है, अभी लिखा हुआ नहीं है वो नहीं मानते। हम भी 6 साल अध्यक्ष यहाँ रह चुके इस स्कूल में। उसके बाद शुक्र को यहाँ बंद रहता है।
The BJP objected to the move, calling it Muslim appeasement by the Hemant Soren government.
The Congress and JMM, like the Manmohan Singh government always believes in appeasing one community over the others. This shows that the vote bank politics and appeasement politics has crossed all limits in Jharkhand. Will action be taken in this case?
सरकारी स्कूल है और सरकारी स्कूल सरकारी नियम और कानून से चलना चाहिए। उसमें धर्म, जाति और पंथ के आधार पर नहीं चलना चाहिए।
Under fire, the JMM Congress government has ordered an inquiry into the matter.
जैसे कल अखबार में आया हम सब मेरे पास लिए और सभी जामताड़ा के डीओ डीएससी डीओ को बुलाया, एक सप्ताह के अंदर रिपोर्ट दें, उस रिपोर्ट से हम संतुष्ट हो जाएंगे नियम संगत कानूनन, तो फिर अगला हम लोग उस पर क्या कार्रवाई हो सकता है विचार करेंगे।
The Friday off system was earlier being followed by Urdu schools. Now it is being extended to other schools. While allegations of appeasement politics take center stage, the fear is enrollments may dip if the off is changed back to Sunday. Bureau Report, India Today.
Just yesterday on World Population Day, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath had cautioned about imbalanced population growth and its ramifications. Yogi Adityanath insists education and enforcement must go hand in hand for a balanced population growth. Listen in.
तो हमें इस बात को ध्यान में रखना होगा कि जनसंख्या नियंत्रण का कार्यक्रम सफलतापूर्वक आगे बढ़े, लेकिन जनसांख्यिकी असंतुलन की स्थिति भी न पैदा होने पाए। ऐसा नहीं कि किसी वर्ग की आबादी बढ़ने की स्पीड, उनका प्रतिशत ज्यादा हो और कुछ जो मूल निवासी हो उन लोगों की आबादी के स्थिरीकरण में हम लोग जागरूकता के माध्यम से, इन्फोर्समेंट के माध्यम से उसको नियंत्रित करके जनसंख्या संतुलन की स्थिति पैदा करें। और यह एक चिंता का विषय है हर एक उस देश के लिए जहां पे जनसंख्या संतुलन की स्थिति पैदा होती है, जनसांख्यिकीय संतुलन की स्थिति पैदा होती है, रिलीजियस डेमोक्रेसी पर इसका विपरीत असर पड़ता है। फिर वहां पर एक समय के बाद अव्यवस्था और अराजकता जन्म लेने लगती है। और इसलिए जब हम लोग जनसंख्या स्थिरीकरण की बात करें तो समान रूप से समाज में प्रत्येक जाति, मत, मजहब, क्षेत्र, भाषा, इन सबसे ऊपर उठ करके समान रूप से जागरूकता के व्यापक कार्यक्रम को इसके साथ जोड़े जाने की आवश्यकता है।
Why should some schools in Jharkhand have Jumma off, Friday off, and not Sunday off? That's the norm in schools across the country and the state. Will the demography of a locality decide school rules, prayers and off days? Or is there merit in the contention that this is blatant Muslim appeasement? Joining me on India First is Pratul Shahdev, spokesperson Jharkhand BJP. Tausif Khan is a lawyer and analyst, and Dr. Vikram Singh is former DGP of the Uttar Pradesh Police for a wider ramifications of such a move. But Tausif Khan, I want to begin by asking you, sir. Jumma off. See the signboard, Jumma Avkash. The BJP says this is because the area is dominated by Muslims and they are enforcing their rules. Is this acceptable or is this Muslim appeasement?
Rahul, Urdu schools have existed in our country from before independence. Some of the schools from British era continue to impart education till today across the country. And many of these schools have had Friday off from a very long time ago. Some of these schools have had half day off on Friday. And I've heard some of the interviewers from your reporter, they were saying that these are the Urdu schools. So if the government wants to bring a policy regulating that all the schools, irrespective of their medium of instruction, would follow our uniform, holiday rules, then that is something to be, discussed in assembly and action taken by the government. But by making this an issue, BJP is trying to appease a certain section of its, vote banks, that BJP believes that they need to appease these vote banks in order to stay in power.
So Congress and JMM can appease a certain vote bank. You're saying BJP is appeasing a vote bank. Sir, India First kaise hoga? Sir, India First kaise hoga?
It is new.
Muslims,
something which is in practice from before and BJP wants it to
sarkari
change.
School, sarkari niyam aur sarkari school, Musalmanon ke niyam alag. I'm just trying to understand that.
No.
I'm just trying to understand that.
Understand. Please understand.
Let me bring in
Something
Pratul
which is
Shahdev.
being-
Let me bring in Pratul
something which has been
Shahdev.
in practice from before.
Okay, Pratul Shahdev, respond. It is being argued that these are Urdu primary schools. What is wrong with the Jumma for primary school children to offer namaz on Friday and study on Sunday?
Gaurav, what I was just listening to closely amounts to the theatre of the absurd. There is no logic which can justify the government schools to have a specific holiday on a certain day and a specific other holiday on general days. See, what the Chief Minister has to practice is Rajdhan, but our Chief Minister is practicing the policy of appeasement. And I say the Chief Minister because the DEO, the District Education Officer, is not aware, the Block Education Officer is not aware, the District Magistrate is not aware, and the Honorable HRD Minister is also not aware. And the Chief Minister is silent on this issue. See, if you look at the Jharkhand's track record, they have sent people to jail because they have put up banners like Hindu Fal Dukan in front of their shops. They have put Urdu in the regional and tribal language list and removed Hindi from the competitive examinations. So this policy of appeasement has been going on in Jharkhand for some time. And the block education officer of Karmatand, which is the most affected block in the entire state, with 26 schools have been, their names have been changed to Urdu schools.
Names changed to Urdu schools is what you're saying. Names changed to Urdu schools. They're regular primary schools, name changed to Urdu schools. But let me bring in... Let me
just wrap up, Gaurav. Let me just wrap up. So what point I was trying to make is that the Chief Minister has not learned lessons from the UPA government.
Okay.
The Prime Minister...
Sir, I'll come to lessons learned in a moment, because I want to keep this on a wider issue. Beyond Jharkhand. Beyond Jharkhand.
10 seconds.
Okay.
Gaurav, just take 10 seconds.
Sir, I'll come back to you. Sir, Dr. Vikram Singh, in a society, if an Urdu primary school, and according to reports from Jharkhand, fairly large number of them are, according to some reports, being compelled to remain closed on Jumma, Friday prayers, and stay open on Sunday. Sir, is this okay, or is this setting a dangerous precedent?
Mr. Gaurav and respected panelists, good evening. I find it to be a very dangerous precedent and an unmitigated disaster administratively. It opens a new dimension to the whole administration, and what they say, the Muslim majority wants this to happen. If tomorrow the Hindu majority of Kanpur and Prayagraj say that we will have a Tuesday off, do you think we can have a Tuesday? No, we can't have. There is a system of manual of government orders, and holiday has to be on the basis of reason and on the basis of propriety, not on the basis of whims and fancies and to a matter of choice. Any choice that divides the society is totally unacceptable. We in the police have a system of observing the Friday prayers, and everybody has a right and everybody is given the opportunity to offer them. As for also the Ramadan fast, everybody is given the opportunity. You don't have to make a fetish out of it. It is nothing short of giving a license to the lumpen elements. We do not indulge in majoritarianism. If you have any issues, and what the honorable spokesperson said, the DM is not aware, the DU is not aware, and the inspector, they are absolutely aware, but they chose to turn a blind eye towards this. And this is just not acceptable.
This is, you're saying, unacceptable. Tausif Khan, some Muslims complain they are being othered, being made to feel different. And then they demand a Friday off when the entire nation follows a Sunday off principle. This is happening now in primary schools. Sir, you can't have it both ways. Either stop complaining about being othered or blend in, follow the same rules that the nation follows.
Gaurav, if something is being in practice from a long years ago, from several decades ago, then it is a law. And now, if you want to change it, you will have to. You're
saying it is the law. Okay, go on.
You can change it by bringing a policy, by bringing a uniform policy, and by discussing it in the assembly. Nothing stops the government, whichever government they have in the power, will decide the policy. Yes, government gives through the Ministry of Education liberty to be at schools to decide or to regulate these matters by themselves. If government today wants to intervene and discuss this, they can do so. The report by the Jharkhand government is pending. What is so shocking to see here on this channel is that you're repeatedly saying that now the demand is being raised to make Friday a holiday, whereas on your channel itself, The people who are running the schools are saying that this is the practice from long ago. Now, if you want to change it, you can change it. And the BJP will change it to please their own vote bank. The appeasement politics is being done here by BJP to please their own vote bank.
So you are okay. You are saying that Friday off should continue for Muslim primary school children. Then stop complaining about being othered.
Government can decide
Stop complaining about being othered.
Government can build a consensus.
Sir, you can't have it both ways, na sir?
Consensus by debate. Instead of playing to the propaganda of BJP, BJP claims that demand of Friday prayer is being raised now, whereas the fact of the matter is that the
what
Friday
you are
has
saying
been a day off
and what the
decades.
DM is saying he's not even aware that it has happened. It has been changed to Friday. Friday off. DM is not aware. District education officer is not aware, but you are aware. Fair enough, sir. That's your point of view.
School teachers
sir, fair enough.
On your
Pratul
channel,
Shahdev,
you have run those footage.
Okay, Pratul Shahdev, JMM leaders say that Jumma off is restricted to some Urdu schools, not all primary schools in Jamtara, and that if they've had this system, let this system continue. You are raising this because you want to make a mountain out of a molehill and appease the Hindu majority.
See, it's actually a mountain. Let's not make a mole out of it. If you're discussing it on your prime time debate, it's because it has ramifications beyond our imagination. And what I was just listening to the honorable panelists is confusing our cultural heritage with what has happened in the last 400, 500 years. Now, Gaurav, the chief minister, who's very vocal on all the issues, is very, very surprisingly silent on this issue. And they say that silence speaks. So the appeasement politics speaks via his silence. Let me just make one final point, Gaurav. Some fringe elements, I'm saying some fringe elements in the minority community are for violating the law, are violating the rules set by the education department and forcing the school administration to declare Friday as a holiday. Then what happens if certain fringe elements in the majority community decide to do so? And we have Lord Shiva on Monday, we have Hanuman on Tuesday, on Wednesday we have Ganesh, on Thursday we have Lord Vishnu, on Friday we have Ma Bhagwati, on Saturday we have Shanidev, and on Sunday we have Lord Surya. No, but I don't agree to this kind of logic. See, it's a temple of learning. You've got to separate your religious belief from this temple of learning. You can't mix religion and ideology and your worship and your prayers.
Dr. Singh,
Dr. Singh, the future generations.
Okay, Dr. Singh, the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights has sought a report. It's not just about this Jumma of in Urdu primary schools, but there is another complaint. Local Muslims don't want certain school prayer. They've objected to children holding their hands together to pray, putting their palms together to pray in the Namaste form. What do you make of this? They say a different prayer and no Namaste.
Well, this is what I call making a mountain of a molehill again and again.
When children are seen with folded hands.
These are non-issues, and in fact those who seem to have a vested interest, they are promoting this kind of a nonsense. Jamtara is also known for the wrong kind of reason. Let me tell you, Jamtara is the center of credit card frauds in the country. And there is a web series cinema also made which has the name of Jamtara. I wish the people would continue to educate the youth and the students there so that they're properly educated.
Patels are banned visa in US.
Sir, it's not restricted to Jamtara. It's happening in many, many areas where the minority community has a major population.
Okay.
Let me one by one.
Let Dr. Vikram Singh complete his point.
Instead of focusing on non-issues,
it was Gujarati community banned in
one by one.
US.
Gentlemen, one by one.
Proper job placement, proper.
Patel who was banned from
Hold on. I want to stay on the immediate. Hold on. I want to stay on the immediate. Everyone talking simultaneously doesn't work. Okay, everyone's fader goes down. Hold on. One by one. One by one. Let this not become the Tower of Babel. One by one. Tausif Khan, respond. If the Muslim population increases in one area and they want systems to be enforced, is this the might is right principle? Is this correct in a secular democracy? Respond to Pratul Singh Deo saying, if Hindus say we want Tuesday off, will that be acceptable?
No, that is the propaganda of Mr. I'm forgetting his name.
Pratul Singh Deo, go on.
Yes, Mr. Praful. It's his propaganda that he wants to run through these debates. Let us be fair and be truthful. Today the practice is in some Urdu schools, and it has been the practice from last few decades, that Fridays would be either off
and
or
you are
half
okay. You know,
Now
Tawseef
you
Khan,
want
as
to
a
change
lawyer,
it.
are you okay with it? Are you okay with Muslims
if the
saying
government
we
wants
want
to decide on the
Friday off?
policy, they can debate it. But I will not allow BJP to run their propaganda when today they are saying that no BJP, that Muslim, these Urdu schools
Forget
want
about
a holiday
BJP.
on Friday as if
Think about
it is
the
something
Muslim.
new.
Think
It is
about
something is being
Muslims.
practiced.
Think
Please
about
first
Muslims. Are you
acknowledge
okay
the
with
fact.
Muslims having
Please
Friday
be
off?
truthful.
Primary children. Are you
I
not
am saying
othering them?
please be truthful.
Are you not othering them?
Please be
You're not answering
fair
a very
and truthful.
You're not answering a
Let
question
us
that I'm
not
asking.
deny the hard reality that from the past several decades, Friday has been off in these Urdu schools that we're talking about.
So you're okay with
Yes,
Muslims
if the
being
government wants
othered?
to change it, they can change it.
The entire
by
country will
building
have a Sunday off, but Muslims will have
please do not allow
Friday
BJP
off.
to run their propaganda.
Then you're okay with it. You're okay with Muslims having
I'm
Friday
not
off.
okay
Fair
with
enough.
BJP running the propaganda.
Fair enough.
And
Dr. Vikram Singh.
speaking
Dr.
as
Vikram
if
Singh,
it
hold
is a
on.
new
This
demand
is
being
far
raised.
more. No,
It is
Tawseef
already in
Khan. This is
existence.
far more serious. This is far more serious. Hold on.
I don't think it is appropriate.
Hold on. This is far more serious. And this is not restricted to Jharkhand. Hold on. This is far more serious. Dr. Vikram Singh, is there a wider pattern to this? Last year, courts had to intervene in Kalatur, in Perambalur, when Muslims objected to a Hindu procession through what they claimed was their area. Tawseef Khan, there is no BJP. High Court had to intervene. Dr. Vikram Singh, might is right principle.
I would say that anything that divides the country is unacceptable. And anything
Hold
that
on,
unites
hold
the
on.
country
Tawseef
is
Khan, wait.
acceptable.
Wait.
And any such attempt, I have a strong exception to any such move. To the contrary, I would say that this move and any such move that folded hands, nobody can force anyone to pray with folded hands. Please don't join the prayer assembly, but then also take pains to not join such schools where they have their own system. If you join a particular school, you jolly well accept the rules and regulations. If not, we've all been brought up in convents. Nobody had any temerity to oppose the chapel talks and the Sunday schools. Everybody joined it, irrespective of the community, Hindu, Muslims and Sikhs, everybody joined it. But yes, I will join a Christian missionary school, but I will not do this and I will not do it. That is where the problem arises. If you will, you have the option of not joining the school. But if you are joining a school, obey the rules and the regulations. If not, you go to a school where you have your system and independence.
Okay, see, Gaurav, if you look at it, this is the rule book which is given to all the teachers under the Jharkhand government.
Okay.
And the rule book says what prayers are to be done and in which way. And if you can zoom in, you can see the children are praying with folded hands. So where is the question of not praying with folded hands? How can you stop something which has been going on for centuries? And I don't say years. You are invading upon our culture and you're indulging in politics of appeasement just because it suits your vote bank politics. See, this has a wider ramifications. This can have a majority backlash. Let's not do this. Let's not pollute children. Let's admit what has been done is a mistake.
Sir, सच बोलना चाहिए और सच का सामना करना भी चाहिए. Tawseef Khan, a 3-day Hindu festival, a temple procession in Perambalur was okay till the year 2011. 2012 onwards, local Muslims started opposing it, using words to the effect, a temple procession is sin. Is that acceptable? That High Court had to intervene for a temple procession?
First of all, you are saying that there were objections raised. Objection cannot be raised. A procession might, you have a right to carry out your procession as long as it is peaceful. If someone says, you are saying that you are quoting that someone said it is a sin. It is absolutely condemnable. And first you have to establish that someone actually did say so.
Sir,
because
High Court ने कहा, sir, High Court ने कहा.
We live in an age
अखबार पढ़ो, sir, High Court ने कहा.
where people speak lies and try to
अच्छा,
create trouble.
High Court भी झूठ बोलेगा. Sir, Madras High Court झूठ बोलेगा.
As if it is a gospel truth.
Sir,
Please,
sir, seriously, sir.
And if the matter was
Let's not degrade the level, Tawseef Khan. Let's not degrade the level of this debate, sir.
Let's not be selective. Let's not have two sets of views for the same thing. If Friday prayer, they are closing the school because of Friday prayer, let's condemn it. Where is the politics? And the Jharkhand government, the HRD department will specifically say, if Sunday will be holidays on Friday.
One by one.
How can they impose?
They want to send their children to.
This is exactly what's happening in Jharkhand. They say it starts from the top. where the top leadership is indulging in appeasement.
Dr. Vikram Singh, since you, apart from the political perspective, is this an isolated incident in one state, Jharkhand, or what happened here? How the Madras High Court had to intervene in May 2021 that a Muslim, community cannot object to a Hindu procession, warning that if there is a backlash, there would be chaos. Sir, is this a symptom of a wider problem? Hold on, Kaushik Khan, let Dr. Vikram Singh respond. Sir, हम यहाँ अब सच का सामना कर लो आप. But Dr. Vikram Singh, respond, sir.
Mr. Gaurav, I have been in the uniformed services and in the uniformed forces, whether it's the army, the police, or in any all-India service. Any act of this type that is divisive is unacceptable and there is zero tolerance. And to that extent, I would say it will be absolutely indiscreet and a disgrace to have something that does not suit the common people of the country, which is not, it is falling out of the pattern. And to be so exclusive as to stick out as an oddity. Anything that is not, does not fall into normal, anything that is divisive, anything does not conform to the national interest and national unity, I have a strong opposition and reservation to that.
I will let that be the last word on this show. I will let that be the last word. But this clearly is a wake-up call. It has to be. Rise above all differences to keep India first. To all my guests, many thanks for joining me. That is all I have for you on the show this evening.